Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. I'm super excited to bring you a species profile of a fish we've had in the fish room for a while now, and that is the Harlequin Rasbora. This fish is very similar to the Porkchop Rasbora, so everything we're saying here pretty much applies to both of them. This is a great fish, schools tightly, great color. I know it's considered a beginner fish, but it is absolutely a fish you should try if you've never had it in your aquarium before. Hope you enjoy the video. Definitely want to take a closer look at the Harlequin Rasbora. This is a great fish that we have had in our fish room for a long time. Everything we're going to be saying here pretty much applies to the Porkchop Rasbora as well. They look very similar. The Porkchop Rasbora has a slightly different pattern to that black part of their body, and they don't get quite as pinkish, but both of them are great fish. You're looking at a 40-gallon breeder here. This is one from our fish room. You're seeing some Congo tetras in here along with some angelfish. I love this fish because they tend to school tightly and they stay relatively small. Now in nature, you're going to find them throughout Malaysia and Thailand and Singapore. Usually in streams, and the water there is often on the softer, more acidic side. Like I said, size-wise, these fish stay relatively small at around 1.5 inches or so. Females tend to be a little bit more round, but both the males and the females show this great color. The other thing I like about them is they're peaceful. We've had groups of these fish in lots of different environments, and they pretty much just seem to stay to their own. They're not overly fin-nippy or anything like that. You can see we've got them in here with some angelfish. Never had a problem with them in that particular situation. And so I really like them because of their schooling behavior and their peaceful temperament. Now, in terms of their lifespan, we've had the Harlequin Rasboras last at least 5 years in our fish room in the past. So this is a relatively hardy fish, and I think that's another great advantage to this particular fish is they tend to live a long time, and they are fairly resilient to different water parameters, and I'm going to talk more about that in a few moments. Now, before I forget, if you are looking for these fish, can't find them locally, check out flipaquatics.com. Their information is in the description below. They are a channel sponsor, and they have magnificent fish, and they specialize in nanofish, and so usually they have the Harlequin Rasbora or the Porkchop Rasbora in stock. Now, this next tank that we're looking at, this was one from Aquatic Experience 2019, and it was the #1 tank. I remember filming this tank and thinking, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And you can see, again, great fish selection right here. Now, if you're looking for tank mates, I've already showed you the Congo tetras and the angelfish. Here you're seeing some neons. I see some Siamese algae eaters in this tank as well. But you've got tons of options if you're looking for fish to keep with your Harlequin Rasbora. And by the way, if you want to learn more about the tank mates and the options you have, check out the description below. We'll have a ton more species profiles down there for you. But other types of Rasboras would be a really great choice. And so you've got this pinkish orange. Why not think about green Kubutai Rasboras or the Galaxy Rasboras, Chili Rasboras? Cory cats absolutely would work here. Most types of plecos would work really well. We keep ours with bristlenose plecos and clown plecos. You can certainly keep them with mystery snails or nearite snails. Like I said, the angelfish worked out really well for us. Different types of gouramis like your honey gourami, your pearl gouramis, dwarf gourami. If you're looking for other centerpiece types of fish, the Apistogramma are a really good option, as are German blue rams and Bolivian rams. And also you've got the smaller tetras, and so all your neon types, your ember tetras, again, tons of species profiles down there in the description if you want more info. But the big thing here is you want to keep them with fish that are similarly sized, that aren't overly aggressive. If you start trying to keep them with large South and Central American cichlids, they might wind up being fish food. Now, regarding temperature, we generally keep our fish tanks pretty close to 80 degrees. They don't have a problem with that, so you could go typical tropical fish temperatures, anywhere from 75 up to 80, 82 even. The pH, they have a wide range of acceptable pH measurements. We keep our tanks right around a pH of 8, but anywhere between a 6 and 8, and in fact, they'd probably be more comfortable at around neutral or slightly acidic. Again, our tanks are closer to a pH of 8. We've always kept them there. Never had a problem. For water hardness, anywhere from 2 to probably 13 to 15 degrees on your GH and KH. Again, for us, we're around 10 degrees, so our water is on the harder side. They do well there, but if you have softer water, they're going to like that even more. The big thing, of course, is you want to make sure you've got a cycle tank. So no ammonia, no nitrite in the water. So you want to have an established tank. Feeding these fish is relatively easy. We feed all of our fish North Fin foods, and so they get a nice healthy dose of North Fin Community. Sometimes I'll put some North Fin cichlid flakes in there. I crush it up a little bit just because they're smaller fish. They go crazy for live baby brine shrimp. They love frozen brine shrimp. So you've got some options there. They're really not picky eaters. Tank size, give them at least a 10-gallon. You're going to want to keep these fish in a group. If I haven't already mentioned that, a minimum of 6 is always recommended for your schooling fish. But if you really want to see their behavior come out in full force, you should probably keep them in larger groups. If you can, 8, 10, 12, 15 or more. In a 10-gallon, 6 to 8 is probably your maximum, but if you've got like a 20-gallon or larger, why not do 12 or 15 at least? Now, decorating the tank, you can see throughout this video, we've got a number of options here. Substrate doesn't matter because these fish don't interact with it, so use the substrate decision based on the other fish you're keeping in the tank. So gravel, sand, it's fine. We use lots of plants, fake or real. Now we generally plant live plants, but you see the rock work throughout, driftwood, just a little bit of structure. Sometimes they'll go behind some of the structure and stay as a group if they're feeling a little bit threatened, but for the most part, they are going to be out and about just like you're seeing throughout this video. Now, if you want to breed this fish, this is not necessarily a fish that's going to be easy to breed for a beginner. Like most Rasboras, they are going to be egg scatterers, which means most people who want to breed them seriously are going to take a group, put them in a 10-gallon tank with a spawning mop. They're going to scatter the eggs, and then it's best to take that spawning mop, remove it from the aquarium or remove the parents, and let the fry hatch after a few days. The big thing here is that the adults will eat the eggs if they can. They will certainly eat the fry when they hatch. So they're not good parents, and so that's why you have to separate the parents from the fry. Now, feeding the fry is also not something that's necessarily easy to do. You're going to need some infusoria or some specialized fry food because the fry are going to be absolutely tiny. You could try some powdered rapashi food, like just a community blend. That will work. And then as they get a little bit larger and they're able to accept live baby brine, like I said, both the fry, the juveniles, even the adults love live baby brine shrimp. Now, they're really, when it comes to breeding, that is going to be your major issue, is separating the eggs from the adults. Now, this is a great fish. Like I've already said, you're going to get them, they're going to school tightly, they show great color, they're peaceful, and so you've always got that nice centerpiece schooling fish. The only challenges you really have with this particular fish is just making sure you don't have other fish in the aquarium that are too large and that could potentially make your Rasbora fish food. But if you get a chance to keep these fish, I know they're somewhat common, but trust me, when they grow up and they're showing that pinkish hue, or even the lamb chop Rasbora, when they get that nice orange color, they really can stand out in your aquarium. If you want more information on tank mates, again, check out the description as well as these two videos up here in the upper right and lower right hand corner. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.